Hello miners, Rusty coming at you. Today we're going to be taking a look at a couple kitchen Damascus knives. Now these knives are from my co-worker, the one that has the folding machete for sale. And I showed her my Civivi Dogma in Damascus and she said, "Oh wow, I gotta get me a Damascus knife." And she went and I told her about White Mountain Knives. Forgot to tell her about a discount code, so I kind of recommended this one to her. I found this for $44 on White Mountain Knives, and she pulled the trigger and wanted something for her kitchen. And when she got it, she thought maybe it was a little bit too big for her preference, and she went shopping on her own and found this one on Amazon. And this one is made by Fanteck. See if we can bring that up here. Fanteck. And I think it's a 5-inch Santoku knife. So it's a nice kitchen knife. And we're going to talk about these just real quickly today. So first of all, this one runs $44.95 on White Mountain Knives right now. It's a TS803. And I don't think you're going to see any of that. Well, let's take a look at this Damascus. A little bit about Damascus, if you guys aren't familiar with it. I did a little research. And Damascus been around about 1,500 years. Some of it's a little bit debatable on whether it was 500 BC or 900 BC. But where it kind of originated was out of India. They make a Wootz steel. That's W-O-O-T-Z, Wootz steel. There's a special process that has to do with how hot they get the metal. And what they do is make it in get those crystals to form. And then they would kind of ship them off to, well, I think it's Damascus, Syria. And so there's also a debate on where the word Damascus came from. But Damascus was first seen in that, I want to say, Damascus, Syria region. And Damas, D-A-M-A-S, means water. And so some people thought water on blade. Let's get back to the knives. This is 803. The TS803 has ebony wood handles. And it's got a nice fit and finish. You know, there's good finish there. Ebony wood's nice hardwood. It's light. Almost feels like plastic, but it's wood. Has a little place for your finger here. And I did talk to her, and we can cut a foam peanut. So we'll get that done in the video. And then here's the Fanteck. And we'll talk a little bit about this one. This one does advertise a VG10 core. And you can see on this Damascus, what I like to see is when the Damascus, these layers stop, I like to see, this steel here. And that should be your VG10 that's coming there. And we're going to talk a little bit about different patterns as well. But this one, I would say, and I don't think it's advertised, I would say it's G10. Nice blue and black layered G10. Also very nice fit and finish on this. Must be a stainless steel. Little place for your finger to move up here. You can see that Santoku indentations. That helps keep food, falling away. Puts air between whatever you're slicing and the blade. So that's about a 5-inch blade. And she got that one for $39 on Amazon. So we'll kind of put those out there. And I'm kind of thinking I need something like this. I've been thinking about, the knives I do buy, how often I use them, and where do you use knives the most. And if you guys are like me, you probably use them the most in your kitchen. So we'll think about that. But let's get back to the story about Damascus. So if you guys haven't watched the Forge and Fire episode, what they'll do is they'll just take layers of steel and they do what they call forge weld them together. They heat them up, they squish them together, and they take thick layers of steel. You know, something like this is the foam for the packaging, maybe even thicker. They'll make 16 layers, weld them together, squish them down. As you can see, when they draw that blade out, these layers get thin. So, I mean, we're looking at, you know, 1, 2, 3. I'm looking down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, how many layers do we have on this? And as it draws out, it tends to get little swirl patterns. And then people will purposely put in other type swirl patterns. You might hear of ladder Damascus, rainbow or rain Damascus, shark tooth, and I'm not sure what patterns we're looking at here, but they're just different, and they either take a special tool and maybe hammer in on it, and it'll take that metal, and when they punch down on it, it's, you know, stretches some of the Damascus and brings more of the layers, and then when they pound that out, you get these shapes in there. So, and this one has the same. You can see where the Damascus kind of stops, and then the core steel. So what Damascus is, you take a core steel, which is going to be your good edge retention steel, and you layer it with some other steels with other properties, probably like hardness is what they're going for. And then you have, you know, a durable type knife. So let's see here, grabbing my little box for cut test. Oh, by the way, this one is a Rihe design. I don't know, maybe it's on the front here, or depending, oh, Rihe, okay. Not sure how that's said, but we'll go with that. Okay, what are we looking at? We got a guy hammering on this, going to make a piano. All right, Neanderthal creativity, and then he bangs his head on the piano. Gotta love it, gotta love it. So, that's what we're talking about. Oh yeah, butter, boys. Very, very nice. Did excellent, passes the paper test. And that's a defective peanut right there, I can tell you that. You see where I've had to push. But it's sharp. It is sharp. So, and I imagine this is probably what Twosun would do is a 12C, 27, or maybe a 14C. They have done some Oz 8. I'm not familiar if they've done any V10 or if they would do some V10. On this one, if we look at this pattern, it's different. And I've seen it's almost like what they call a rain pattern, raindrop pattern, maybe that's what they're called. But I'm not sure. Again, if you guys know and you know anything about Damascus and their patterns, let me know. This one's comfortable. Let's see how we cut paper. So this is Fanteck. Woo! Yeah, these are both ready to go. I think she'll get a lot of use out of these in the kitchen. And I can see, you know, cutting carrots, cheese, celery. Who knows? I'm gonna make myself hungry here. So I'm gonna show you guys the boxes they came in and what else comes in that. So with the Twosun, it comes in this nice presentation box. Twosun, very nice. It's not it's like a clothy type of a linen type material here. And then open it up, and it's got this form kind of fitted. And they have this in there to hold that blade down when they're shipping. So that's nice. It doesn't rattle around. And then it came with this guard, so you can actually put this in your kitchen drawer and not cut yourself when you reach in your drawer. So that's a Twosun TS803 with ebony wood, and I don't know what it's using for steel. And we'll take a peek. The Fanteck comes in this box, which is a thin type wood. It's almost looks like a particle board with you know, that what do you call that stuff that lays on there? And it came with the silica pad, and it came inside this plastic sleeve, and it was kind of oily. I think both of them might have been. And this guard to keep from cutting through that, as well as your kitchen. Let's see how we do this on the behind the camera. There we go. So, being very careful here. So you can put that in your drawer like this. But this is a nice presentation box, and I'll get you guys to take a peek at this because it's got a little story on there. It's a Fanteck 5-inch Executive Santoku Special Edition. What do we have to say here? Created with very special V gold. That's what V, the G stands in VG10. Gives you an idea of the composition of the VG10. And they talk about what each of those elements will do. And it's using SUS 410 stainless steel. It's got a cryogenic cooling process. So wash it by hand. Do not cut glass or try to pry. And there we go. So Damascus, Syria. The strongest point of the steel is its own pattern produced by solidifying the cast steels melted in a crucible furnace, and that is only a few people know about the manufacturing know-how. In the days of the Crusader, the sword was noted for its mysterious beauty and precisionness. The present Damascus design has been realized based upon the pattern of this Damascus steel. Okay, so back in the day, 1,000 years ago, Damascus was king. What they needed was a high edge retention, and they weren't getting toughness out of those blades, so they would include a tough metal. They'd mix them together, make it into one metal, make swords and those kinds of things. With today's metals, what we're finding is, VG10's just fine by itself in the kitchen. But what you do get with your Damascus knife, you still can get that edge retaining tension ability, and this is just done for aesthetic purposes and good looking. I encourage you guys to get yourself a good kitchen knife, and maybe these will make the list. Thanks for watching.